Good morning and welcome to another episode of Science Radio. In today's segment, we chat with Dr. Sourav Pal, Director of the National Chemical Laboratory in Pune.
Actually, at one time in school, I was thinking of becoming film director, to be honest.
Here's a look at some of the conferences happening around India in the month of December.
International Relations Conference 2013 is being held in Pune on December 14th.
This is Science Radio on Vidyavani 107.4. Our guest today is one of India's leading chemists and director of the National Chemical Laboratory in Pune, Dr. Sourav Pal. Dr. Sourav Pal received his MSc in chemistry from IIT Kanpur, after which he completed his PhD at the Indian Association for the Cultivation of Sciences in Kolkata. He then joined NCL in Pune as a scientist. He was a postdoctoral associate at University of Florida. He was also the Alexander von Humboldt Fellow at the University of Heidelberg, Germany. He is currently the director of the National Chemical Laboratory in Pune. We caught up with Professor Sourav Pal in his office at NCL. Sir, you earned your integrated Masters in Chemistry from IIT Kanpur in 1977. It has been nearly 35 years since. How different would you say the academic atmosphere was then?
It has significantly changed. There are now more number of people who are coming to science. There is much more funding which is available now. There are many more academic institutions which have been set up by the government. There is a change in the number. However, the basic academic spirit remains the same, that you have to do original research work and you have to publish in good journals. There is a change because today people are more concerned about the impact factor of the journals. In my early days, I didn't feel that much of pressure. Today it has become very competitive, which is good for the health of the science. This is my only concern, that we are far too much bothered about the numbers. And in that sense, the peer review process is a very important part that we should not forget.
After your PhD from Calcutta University, you went on to do a postdoctoral degree at University of Florida. How did that impact your research?
In my case, before I went abroad, I actually got a job in NCL. I had already set up my own research. So when I went to postdoc, I had already a few independent publications. I was interacting with my group in Florida in a manner where I was ready to tell them what original work that I am doing. In the US, atmosphere is very competitive. I must mention particularly the quantum theory project of the University of Florida, because this is one of the best quantum theory centers in the world. So we had always very good seminars, lectures. I think that really helped. When I went to USA, you will be surprised that that is the first time I saw a terminal. There was no email. That was the first time we got an email. And I remember I was interacting with the Nobel laureate Roald Hoffman. I wanted a program from him. He said that I will send you by email. I said, what is email? He said, no, there is something called email. I also don't know. Roald Hoffman is telling. But maybe your students will be able to tell. I will send you. They will tell you how to access. It's very amazing that how much of technology changes in our lifetime we have seen. After that, I went to Germany for the University of Heidelberg on Alexander Humboldt Fellowship. That was a different atmosphere. And that work was entirely new. So again, it allowed me to connect to many more people. I could interact with so many people who are leaders in the world.
You've been with the National Chemical Laboratory for nearly 30 years now. So what were some highlights of your professional career in NCL?
Professionally, I have been very satisfied. I still remember when I was in USA, I got INSA Young Scientist Award. That was in 87. I was not even sure that I will come back. In fact, I was getting some offers. But the INSA Young Scientist Award made my mind very clear. At that point, I put a lot of value to that award. Here is a possibility of a young person who gets respect in the country, able to get a group and set up something. So that really attracted me. And I already had an experience of publishing independently. So I was not scared. The INSA award also gave me some research grant. So that really helped. After that, I have been very satisfied because I also did well in terms of work. I got students and eventually I was recognized. I got CSIR Young Scientist Awards. And then several other recognitions followed. I think that has been a good journey. Very importantly, I am happy that I could set up the first real theoretical chemistry or the quantum chemistry group in NCL. It is also the first in CSIR in some sense. That my work actually generated that interest. I think that I take more pride and more happiness in.
In December 2010, you were made the director of NCL. How do you manage to make time for research despite your busy schedule?
Yeah, this is of course a very tough challenge. While I was interested in doing theory, the rest of the NCL taught me that the theory has to be done with a purpose. Initially, I was just doing development of theory, which I am continuing to do till today. Then I started understanding what an experimental chemist would require. That is where NCL really helped me. Particularly in last 10 years, I started working on what is called computational material science. Once you diversify at a later stage, you require good students because the time becomes less and less. And this is exactly the problem that I had when I became director. One of the things that I do is to teach my PhD students, customize courses. When I become very busy, the students can work with minimal interactions, minimal guidance from me. Even then, managing research and administration is a challenge. So what I normally do is every weekday I go to the lab. I stay up to typically 8:30. Every Saturday when I'm in Pune, I usually stay in the lab. Of course, part of the research I carry home. If you manage your time reasonably well, if you are really interested in doing research, you can do it.
You have been teaching and doing research side by side. Has this in any way helped your research? Continuous teaching?
Sure. In two ways. One is that I myself keep abreast of the basics, and those basics are always important to do new research. Second is that you keep training students. If the students are good, then it also helps in research. Now, teaching of course, two kinds. One is teaching my PhD students. There is also undergraduate teaching, which I do in ISER, and I have done it in Pune University also before. That is more for my pleasure. Even there, you learn a lot. The maximum knowledge that you can gain is actually when you start teaching. Because a student, you have not really assimilated the subject. Later on, when I teach the same subject, I realize, oh my God, there are so many interesting things, so many insights. And one of the problems is that in many places, this teaching and research is becoming disconnected. So according to me, I think every researcher should at least do some minimal teaching.
This is Science Radio on Vidyavani 107.4. Talking of your undergraduate teaching, you are also the adjunct professor at ISER Pune.
Yes.
How was your experience teaching and interacting with tomorrow's scientists?
For me, teaching is a passion. I think ISER was really a fantastic place to teach. Before that, I was teaching in Pune University. But the quality of the students in ISER was so good that I think you really enjoy teaching. Because the questions they ask, the interactions that you have, make you think. The other thing is that the basics. If you teach at a little high level, these students are also capable of appreciating. That really gave me a motivation. I think the students like me, and I have spent a lot of time, sometimes beyond the class hours, talking to them. That has happened only because the students have been very good. I think ISER has been a tremendous experience. I would say more than ISER should be thankful for me for teaching. I am thankful to them for providing the opportunity to teach.
For some high school kids with an inclination towards science, could you recommend a couple of books which might interest their left brain?
I think there are several. Like at class 5, class 6, I think they should not go into very specialized books. There are books which are basically like encyclopedia science. They give pictorially, particularly for the children's encyclopedia. At the higher secondary later, I think there should be a little bit more specific books. There are a lot of popular science books which have come up, like the Feynman's Lectures in Physics, the Universal Chemistry of C.N.R. Rao. That was a very good book to learn chemistry. There is no substitute for good books. Even if the books are tough, at the college level, they must go to the good books. But more importantly, I think apart from book, there has to be demonstration. They should go to a place, they should do own experiments and see the fun of basically just science.
Recently, it was noticed that not many institutes in India make it to the ranking of world universities. The ones which do are ranked above 200 in the world. Is this indicative of better research opportunities abroad?
Ranking is a big concern, I would say, but I will not be overly concerned about ranking. It is a very dynamic situation because we are certainly doing better than before. It also means that others are moving faster. The ranking is an effect of many, many parameters. Many of the countries, developed countries particularly, are advancing very fast. And many developing countries are also moving much faster than India, unfortunately. So that is one of the reasons our rankings are not that good. In absolute terms, we are certainly improving. But we have to improve at a faster rate. Let us do good science. Let us popularize science. Let good people come to science. I think the rest will automatically be taken care.
What are some of your interests outside of science, your hobbies?
Well, sports is one, and films. Now I don't get time to read books. My school days, I used to read a lot of Bengali novels, lots of poetries, Tagore and Sarath Chandra Chatterjee. Then later on, Sunil Gangobadhyay. In the school, I was very much interested in sports, like cricket and lawn tennis. Then later on, soccer. But soccer was only confined to Indian soccer in our time. Films, of course, Satyajit Ray was an idol of our time. Satyajit Ray I have seen, and I have heard him in the radio and TV. There was a fantastic book he wrote on films, our films, their films. There is European films. It just shows how our films are influenced by their films. Truffaut, Jean-Luc Godard, they had deep influence on Satyajit Ray. Actually, at one time in school, I was thinking of becoming film director, to be honest. So, much later I realized it's probably much more difficult.
So if you had not become a chemist, you would have become a movie
Yeah,
director?
probably. Because I was deeply inspired by many of the movies of Ray. Many, I can just keep on telling, Charulata, Mahanagar, many shots, some of the shots were so deep. But that's another subject I can keep on discussing.
Finally, I would ask you to share some words of wisdom for students interested in pursuing a career in science.
One of the things is that science gives them unending freedom. They can do whatever they want. The innovation has no boundary. There is a pleasure in innovation, which you don't get in any other profession. That is one of the great reasons that people should take up science. Today, I should also say that the government has invested so much in science. Even the career in terms of finance are not bad. The problem, however, is that career in science is not very easy. Here, there are a lot of intangibles. A best student will not necessarily be a best scientist. So there are intangibles, and that really scares many students. But I would say that it is such a wonderful subject that people should take up science more in numbers. That is one of the things that I would appeal to the young people.
Thank you, Professor Pal. We look forward to chatting with you again sometime on Science Radio.
Hi, I'm Neeta with a look at some of the conferences taking place in the first half of December 2013. Disaster Mitigation and Management on December 12th at Tanjavur. International Conference on Public Sector Enterprise Going Global Issues, Opportunities and Challenges on December 12th in Hyderabad. 6th National Conference of AIDS Society of India on December 13th in Mumbai. 2nd International Conference on Managing Human Resources at the Workplace on December 13th in Mysore. 5th International Conference on Information Technology and Business Intelligence on December 13th near Gwalior. International Relations Conference 2013 is being held in Pune on December 14th. Exploring Global Transformations in Technology and Management on December 14th is also being held in Pune. International Conference on Electrical, Electronics, Computer Science, Management and Mechanical Engineering on December 15th in Hyderabad. International Conference on Electrical, Electronics and Computer Science on December 15th is being held in Goa.
We will be back next week with another episode of Science Radio. We would love to hear from you. Do write to us. Our email ID is radioiserpune, radioiserpune@gmail.com. This is your host, Sourajit Basu, signing off.